Bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite, buongiorno, buonasera, dzień dobry, dobry wieczór i jak yela, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are, wherever you may be. Three Brighton Ladies case, part one and part two. This will be part one. I would really like anyone that's interested in what could have happened to those three Brighton ladies, sometimes called the three Brighton sisters. Jane Adatoro, we are told, Tina Walters, we are told, and Becky Walters, we are told, were their names. Um, yeah, recommend, and I'll put the link in the description to the video, that you watch this, I believe it's a BBC investigation into what, no, actually, I don't think it is BBC. But have a look at this because it's an investigation into what can happen and does happen to some of the tiniest little kids. In this case, it is a Nigerian girl. Her name is Destiny, and how she was effectively trafficked from her home country, Nigeria, to Ireland by her own parents. And I mean, trigger warning, it is a very, very disturbing story. I bring it to your attention because I am convinced once you've heard what happened to Destiny, that you will think, if you follow the three Brighton sisters case, that a similar scenario, a similar history could well have happened to these. Because you will find out that someone like Destiny effectively can exist without existing. Like the paperwork says, she is in Ireland with her parents in a family. The reality is that she's kind of hidden from society. No one knows really what is going on in her household. She describes how she was locked in her own room, how once she came back from school, she was, removed from society effectively, used as a form of slave labor. She was taken away from her parents and put in foster care, but nothing was done to tackle this situation. Also, very interesting how Destiny got from Nigeria to Ireland. It was effectively by bribing airport staff that she could get on a plane, unaccompanied, it seems. Well, she was with a younger sister. I think she's only 5 or 6 years old when she flew from Nigeria to Ireland to join or rejoin her parents. When she was living in Nigeria, she was living with an aunt. So bribed to get on the bribed staff at Lagos Airport, I think in Nigeria, to get on that flight with her sister, and then landing in Dublin, met by the parents, and there we go. Not a lot of investigation done by the authorities as to who exactly Destiny was, and she will explain that to this day she's not really sure who she is. She explains that a lot of the paperwork, a lot of the official paperwork, certificates, documentation, etc., on the Nigerian side, all fake, all forged, nothing genuine. And again, I urge you to listen to every word in this and then think, simply think, could the same thing, the same sort of thing, have happened to the three Brighton sisters, Jane, Tina, and Becky? Because we do have, and it's an extraordinary thing, an absolutely extraordinary thing in the case of the three Brighton ladies, that no one on this planet can produce a single picture of any of those three after the age of, I don't know, 6 or 7. There is nothing. When you get a funeral and the picture that is right next to the casket is an AI generated creation, it's not a real pic, you know something is wrong. What I don't understand in this case is how the Sussex police are out there saying, well, there's no third person, no third party involvement, when it's bloody obvious something's wrong here. It just can't be normal that three girls get to the age of, well, they're not girls, ladies, 36, 32, and 31 are their ages. And not one single person, not one single um, colleague, work colleague, not one single boyfriend, ex-partner, partner, not one single friend, not one single neighbor, not one single family member even can say, this is what happened the last time I saw these, or this is an example of how, this particular daughter behaved. It's all generalities. And what was very, very disturbing in the funeral was how the cousin, Natalie, spoke in platitudes, spoke in generalities, tried to convince everyone that these three sisters were her best friends, and yet could not recall, refused to recall, just didn't mention any single example, any single incident that ever happened in the company of the three girls. Now, that would be entirely possible if Jane Adatoro, Tina Walters, and Becky Walters did live the life that Destiny lived, meaning they were basically locked up in the family house all day and every day. In Destiny's case, she went to school in Ireland. But I'm just thinking, is it not possible that if Joseph Adatoro said he was homeschooling his daughters, and you're absolutely insistent, the general public and the police and the media and everyone that backs this Adatoro story, if you're insistent that the three girls did grow up in the UK, did live in the UK, but had no contact with the outside world, the only way I could imagine that possible is if, like Destiny, they were in the house, effectively locked up, doing slave labor or what have you, all day, every day of their lives forever, effectively, until for some reason they ended up in trouble in the sea off Brighton. This three Brighton ladies case is absolutely extraordinary. But the most extraordinary aspect of it is that so many people, I'm guessing every single one of the congregation at their funeral, seems to accept that they did not exist. They existed on paper only. That a real life encounter with these sisters never happened. The most bizarre thing. And we've been told by, I think he's called Adam Hayes, DCI Hayes down in Sussex, that no stone will be left unturned in his investigation. And yet here we are. We are now in July. No updates. No updates even on the three men that washed ashore in Brighton. Don't know who they are. Don't know what happened there. How can it be that Sussex police are so adamant that, number one, we shouldn't be speculating, number two, there's no third party involvement, but number three, we can't tell anyone anything about these people? It is the most bizarre thing. Anyway, I will leave it there. That's part one. But like I say, you will not be wasting a second of your time if you listen to every single word that Destiny says regarding her very, very sad, I was going to say sad childhood, lack of childhood, and how it's possible to go from Nigeria to Ireland. I would guess the other way around, Ireland to Nigeria, where the parents are effectively trafficking you and cutting you off from society. I think whatever happened to Destiny here is very likely to be something similar to what happened to Jane, Tina, and Becky. There's a much greater chance that something very untoward, cruel, and nasty happened to them than they just don't have a picture of them because no one ever took a picture of those three girls. It's just not possible. Let's leave part one there. Hasta luego, adios, hasta la vista, and see you very soon.